Welcome, I'm Karen Field Bullock, and this is lesson number 17 in my course, A Spiritual Path to True Love. Today I want to look at the power of true love, what it does to people who fall into it. In reading about love, I've learned that many intelligent, educated people, even experts in the field of love, claim that it's possible to make two people fall in love, basically by teaching them how to act and converse in certain ways. In my life, I've also met people who believe you can cast a spell or concoct a love potion to make someone fall in love with you. In fact, years ago, I had a girlfriend who told me she had once cast a love spell on a guy and it worked. He became fascinated by her and started following her around everywhere. Then she got sick of him and she couldn't get rid of him. I have to respect these ideas because everyone has their own experience of love and their own picture of what true love is. I suspect, though, that these people have never experienced the kind and quality of love that I have. Granted, there are ways of acting and speaking that will definitely make you more attractive and give your love a chance to grow. Also, ways of acting and speaking that will definitely kill the attraction. If you want to keep your love alive, it's a good idea to learn that type of information, as I've talked about previously. In terms of magic spells, well, love does feel magical when it happens. So I understand why some people would use magic in their search for love. I think what my friend did was to conjure up an attraction and not a healthy one. But basically, what the interpersonal skills view and the magical view have in common is the notion that human beings have the power to cause true love to spring into existence. My experience is the opposite. I'm convinced that both sexual attraction and true love are forces of nature, beyond human control. Love partners have the power to cultivate friendship, compassion, and respect on some levels. But partners can't control whether they're a good fit sexually, which is an important part of true love. People are either turned on by each other or not, although cleaning yourself up does help. Nor can human beings make true love happen or stop it from knocking at their heart's door if it happens to be inconvenient. Ed Sheeran says in his song Thinking Out Loud, people fall in love in mysterious ways. Real love is a gift of nature, not a product of human manipulation. Think of the story of Romeo and Juliet. The kids met at a masked ball, but through their masks and costumes, they felt a powerful sexual attraction and deep love connection before they even saw each other's faces. If it weren't a deep soul connection, they probably wouldn't have killed themselves over it. And since they came from feuding families, it's unlikely that they would have chosen freely to fall in love. Love chose them because nature, which is a tool of spirit, doesn't bow down to social constraints. It operates by the law of attraction to advance our spiritual unfoldment, not our social propriety. Love, even the search for love, has the power to bring up a huge range of feelings. If you want to get a panoramic view of the power of love over our emotions and our spirit, just turn on the radio and listen to some love songs for a while. From soft rock to hard rock, country music, blues, R&B, jazz, alternative, classical, show tunes, and opera. You'll hear songs about love that run the gamut, from love is a many-splendored thing to love stinks. I like the song The Power of Love by Huey Lewis because he says that love makes one man weep and another man sing, and that you'll be glad when you found it. All of this attesting to the wide range of emotions touched off during the search for love. But he also says it's more than a feeling because it transforms people. It can change a hawk into a little white dove. And it might just save your life. Finally, he says the power of love is what makes the world go around, showing that it is powerful enough to give life meaning and motivate a lot of our behavior. Another song that rings true for me is a recent release called Love Someone by Lukas. It also shows the power of love to change people. The refrain says, when you love someone, you open up your heart. When you love someone, you make room. If you love someone and you're not afraid to lose them, you probably never loved someone like I do. For me, opening up your heart has two meanings, one intentional and the other mystical. On the intentional side, you have the power to choose whether to open up your heart to the person you fall in love with. There are plenty of people who, due to intense pain from past loves that they haven't fully recovered from, reject new love that comes knocking on their heart's door. That new love opportunity may or may not be real, but either way, they're not ready to find out. Other people are so convinced from experience that love is just a game that they refuse to give a new love relationship a try, threatened by the possibility that they might be wrong. Another reason people refuse to open up their hearts to new love that comes knocking is that a relationship would be socially inappropriate, as in a Romeo and Juliet type of a situation, lovers from enemy cultures, or from different religions that prohibit intermarriage. Or a married person can fall in love outside the bounds of marriage and decide it's wrong. There are plenty of songs about that. Some people admit to themselves that they're in love with another and open up their hearts quietly, but they never totally make room for the other person in their life, as we hear so often in songs about secret lovers. So when you love someone, you make room is the ideal in true love, though not always the reality. The mystical side of opening up your heart, in my experience, is an involuntary opening of the energetic heart chakra. It's an absolutely amazing feeling, and it happens on its own time. It's a vaguely physical feeling, like a beautiful flower gently blossoming inside your chest. This experience makes you feel even more in love, brings you a spirit of hope, and helps you see life in a more positive light. So in that sense, true love has the power to literally open up your heart center and elevate your spirit with hope and optimism. Earlier in the song, the singer says he feels amazed to be chosen by his partner and afraid that he might just be dreaming. And because he found somebody to lose, he feels that falling in love is bittersweet. So let's look at these ideas. In true love, you feel lucky to be loved by the person because of how much profound goodness you perceive in them. You see someone who is incredibly unique and irreplaceable, and it seems amazing that they would find you just as profoundly good, unique, and irreplaceable. By unique and irreplaceable, though, I'm not saying that you can't honestly love more than one person. Over a lifetime, many people do. You might replace one spouse with another and still love them both, especially if the first one died. Also, some people have multiple love relationships going simultaneously, secretly or openly. And they feel there's something real about each one. What I'm saying is that if your love is real and honest, even if imperfect, each of the unique people you are or were in love with is an amazement and irreplaceable to you, just as good parents can love more than one of their children, while finding each child unique and irreplaceable. When you find someone so rare, the fear of loss is always lurking in the back of your mind. Author Esther Perel speaks of the shadow of the third in her book, Mating in Captivity. This prospect haunts many partners in the front of their minds, too. More deeply, all lovers know from the start, even if their relationship works out, it will one day end. I know that when I fell in love in 4th grade, I wasn't exactly thinking about death at the time, but after the amazement of falling in love overwhelmed me as my heart pounded out of my chest there at my little 4th grade desk in class, I was suddenly struck with fear. I thought, uh-oh, I am a dead duck. I knew I was destined to be made fun of if I told anyone, and more importantly, that most grade school love doesn't end in marriage. There's a paradox here. Lovers face mortality while true love feels eternal. Doomed to end collides with forevermore, creating an uncomfortable tension. If this sounds like a riddle, it may be because this paradox provides the ideal environment to heighten one of the most prized emotions of all of human existence: passion. Let me explain. Imagine that you and your true love knew you'd both live forever without aging, and that your love would last forever. In that scenario, your time together wouldn't be quite so precious, because you'd always know you'll have more time together again in the future. You'd feel so comfortable with your love that sooner or later you'd take it for granted. The risk-reward energy would be flat. I'm not saying that all passion is based on the shadow of the third or the shadow of death. Maybe not, but these shadows give our love-making passion far more depth. Although we may dread our own mortality and that of our lover, and long for our relationship to last forever, without the certainty of death, we would find our time together and our time in life itself less precious. The knowledge of our mortality is a high price to pay, but heightened passion is the precious gift it buys us in love and in life. So back to the song. The singer sees perfection in his partner. I believe this suggests that the singer has found true love because he is seeing all the way into his partner's soul, which in my experience looks perfect. Then the singer confides that even on his worst days, she makes him smile. This is another clue that his love for her is based on her unchanging essence, not her daily moods. He says he sees that she loves how he makes her feel, and that means to him that their love is real. I think this signifies that he feels the kind of power and effectiveness in the relationship that convinces him it's real love. Many people will tell you that you shouldn't look to others to make you happy. I agree. And yet, it's my experience that when you do find true love, you feel moments of pure joy, just witnessing who they are, or feeling their love, or uniting with them. At other times, you can always recall those moments, leading you back to that wellspring of joy resting within your heart. Also, the singer says he'd always thought it would be hard to find the one, until the day he found her. In my experience too, when I've fallen in love, my concerns and doubts have dissolved into certainty once I faced the truth of my feelings. Another source I like for identifying the power of love is Anthony William, the medical medium. I recently heard his podcast on compassion, unconditional love. There, he asserts that according to spirit, compassion, especially self-compassion, has the power to heal us, not just emotionally, but physically. While I have more to learn about the power of love to heal physical illness, I've seen this force in action on an emotional level. I find that when I accept people without expectations, they gradually seem to feel freed up and come alive. Also, emotional healing and personal growth are closely related. And it's common to see children who receive the compassionate acceptance and understanding of their parents, teachers, and other adults grow and blossom as a result. In a true love relationship, which includes compassion but also many other things, partners are attracted to each other partly because they have unusually deep insight into one another. This insight gives true lovers the power to bring out one another's latent talents and other good qualities. In this way, true love can make us more whole, helping us to emerge into a greater sense of our own profound goodness as our partner brings it out in us. This helps us expand and transform our self-concept so that we can love ourselves even more than before. Another part of the way love transforms us is that it pushes us to grow, both through being inspired by our partner's best qualities and by responding to our partner's occasional requests and challenges. The tremendous desire to hold onto a love that's real provides partners with the incentive to take growth steps they might not otherwise take. In terms of Rabbi Martin Buber's famous book, I and Thou, true lovers have an I-thou relationship, which is mystical and promotes change and growth for both partners, as opposed to an I-it relationship, where one partner objectifies the other and rigidly demands change from the other without reciprocal change. Finally, true love, with its powerful sexual component, exerts its power to change people energetically and spiritually through sex. On the energetic level, any two people who have sex with or without love are blending their energy fields, being fully exposed to each other along all their chakras. They each pick up one another's energy and carry it around in their auras, at least for a while. In a typical sexual encounter, one person's energy is higher and more refined than the other, and so he or she picks up more negative energy in the exchange, while the other gets the advantage of taking up higher energy that he or she hasn't really earned through spiritual growth. But in a true love relationship, the energy fields of both partners are elevated because both partners have expansive compassion for themselves and others. If not, they wouldn't be ready to attract a higher love. In my experience, when lovers who both are deeply compassionate, accepting people blend their energies rise to a higher spiritual level together without either of them polluting the energies of the other. Moreover, when they practice spiritual sexual practices such as tantric sex, their energy and stamina can strengthen tremendously, according to tantric expert Deida, author of The Enlightened Sex Manual, Sexual Skills for the Superior Lover. I believe this energy gives them a strong, dignified presence in the world, because I witnessed this once in an elevator following a networking event, when I met a couple from the event who teach tantric yoga. As we slowly descended to the first floor, we conversed about the books we were each writing. Not only were they kind, intelligent, and focused people, but their dignified presence really impressed me. Not because of any egotism on their part, but because their energy fields were so incredibly powerful as I stood there next to them. So that's the power of love. If you'd like to increase your understanding around today's lesson, I've listed some resources for you below. Next time, I'm going to wrap up segment 2 of this course by returning to the question, what is true love? Until then, good luck incorporating this material into your personal experience. Goodbye.